Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Can-Am connection with no-am connection. Jody is indisposed. And if Jody wants to share what's up right now, he can. He's in the chat I saw. He might be a little bit busy at the moment, but I have a couple special guests. I have Clayton Faulconer, who happens to be Jody's upcoming opponent. And what date is that, Clay?
December 10th.
December 10th. Jody Williams will be facing Clay. And I also have the man of the hour who just ran a very successful TAL3, my also former co-host for the Total Arm Wrestling show that gets resurrected from time to time, Mr. Jeff Frank.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. That's all you got for me on the day after or the Monday after your big event?
You know, the guy needs to take a couple days and just kind of decompress and reevaluate it all. But, yeah, it was a stressful 2 weeks leading up to it. But I think all in all, it was a pretty good day. I'm overly satisfied with the turnout, actually really satisfied with the turnout. And, you know, it was nice to see a solid ladies group in BC. Typically, we didn't even see that at provincials. I think we had 5 different provinces, 4 different countries. So I think we ended up with 191 entries. So all in all, it was really good.
All right. Clay, you said you had a funny story. Actually, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your arm wrestling accolades first, and then tell me this funny story that you said you could only tell me live on the air.
Well, I've come up with a list of my accolades only because of my accident 4.5 years ago. But according to the records, I've won 8 or 9 Canadian championships. But I was a light guy back then. I'm big and fat. And I won provincials many times. I can't remember. But anyways, to the story. So I'm in the kitchen today, just before this broadcast, and I'm washing a cup that Anthony D'Antonia gave me. So my hands are stronger than I think. So I'm washing a very special cup to me, and I washed it so hard, I tore the handle off. Like I was wiping the inside of the mug, and I tore the handle right off the Vancouver Arm Wrestling Club mug. So
did you drop that on the floor? Tell the truth, man. Did you just drop that on the floor?
Nope. Was washing it like this and broke it in my hands.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
I thought Clayton, now that you're alive, you were going to tell the story about how you and Fraser left Ryan in the airport.
Oh.
You tell that story. Ryan knows it. Well, actually, you were Ryan. Ryan, you can probably tell the best story. So please tell us.
You want me to tell that story again? That's a sore spot for me when you guys abandoned me in Toronto and I had to drive 10 hours to get to the Arnold Classic. And, you know, here's the full story. We go there. It's a snowstorm. So Fraser and Matt and Clay and a bunch of guys, they end up deciding they're going to rent a car. So they're like, come back through customs, get in the car with us. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but it takes a little while to do that. So we end up going back through customs, get all my stuff, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. And when I get back out there, I phone them. They say, we've been on the road for an hour and a half. What are you talking about? Abandon me. So I go back through and I wait. I'm going to go back through. There's one more flight. 1 minute before it starts boarding, it's canceled. So I phone up Fraser, and I'm even more pissed now. And he says, well, we're at the weigh-ins. It's a Thursday night already. And Ron Bath made the comment, just another excuse for Ryan not to come to a big event. So I jumped in a rental car, and I drove for 10 hours by myself through a blizzard to get there for the half an hour to spare and arm wrestle. Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Ryan, how pissed were you? Because it still sours you to this day.
About a 13, and it probably damaged my relationship with a couple of different arm wrestlers for the long term. Like Matt and I never really even talked about this until about, I would say 6 months ago, we had a real, because he took a lot of the blame for that, and I found out that it really wasn't him, but took a lot of shit for that. Like I had canceled and I had taken their names off the hotel room a couple of times, put them back on. I had everyone's UFC tickets in my bag, and I was just gonna sell them at the event. And I was pissed. But then I arm wrestled and I made it to day 2, and Matt was my first match, and I beat him. So I guess I got a little bit of revenge there, but it was awful. Like I think my wife, my ex-wife now, disowned Frazier as a friend for 6 months after that. Like she needed to be convinced. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the event, Jeff. What are your highlights of the event? Let's go through the matches.
Well, I mean, even starting with the undercard matches, I thought they were really good success. They were well matched. They were 2 matches, my club versus the Vancouver club. The first one was a guy by the name of Mason Woodgrain versus Lavish Burma for my club. It was a good close match. I think it ended up being 3-2 for Lavish from Chilliwack. So real good match. 2 new guys. Lavish learning how to press, used it well to beat Mason. So I was thinking that was a pretty good way to kick it off. Good close match, 3-2. So, and then we went into a couple other new guys. Ryan Branch from my club and Jamie Johnson from Vancouver club. Jamie's a little bit more seasoned than Ryan. I think he's got 2 years into it. But I think it was 3-2 for that one as well for my club, Ryan Branch. I think Jamie exploded out of the gates, beating him with the top roll, but when Ryan got him to the straps, he was a little bit more stronger in there, and that's where he found a way to win. So a couple good matches to kick it off, very eventful, exciting. And then, of course, we went into a belt match to start getting these belts defended. Dan Gallo versus a guy from my club, Donovan Tricrobe. Outside the strap, good match. Donovan has a solid hand, but inside the strap, I mean, Dan Gallo, very seasoned, experienced puller, just too much power, too quick for Donovan, and beat him relatively easy. I guess 3-0 outside the straps, or in the strap. Sorry. And then, into our main event card. I don't know. I personally thought it was really good. I think all the matches were great matchups. Austin and Dan Cadlick. I mean, it was 3-0 Austin, but Dan's coming out of retirement, showing that he still has it, and he's got some work to do to get back to where he was. But I think all in all, it was. I don't know. I think for Dan, just maybe missing a little bit in his hand. What do you think, Ryan? Maybe a little bit more power there from Austin.
Yeah, definitely. There was a bit of I think in all areas, Austin had just a tiny edge on him. It wasn't significant. Like Dan was in that match. Austin just had a little more up pressure. He had a little more hook, a little more hand. I thought if they were very close in one area, it was probably the hand. But when it went to the strap, it was more one-sided.
Yeah. So 3-0 for Austin. Good matchup, but Dan's still looking to do some work. But I think it motivated him to get back on the table, really work on what he needs to work on. I think he wants to make a good, solid comeback, so that's good to see.
Yes, it was, and they pulled again in the tournament later, which we can talk about after. But it was pretty much the same match, just the continuation rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah. And then we move on to Ontario's John Terrian against BC's Alex Maritza. I thought this was just an exceptional match. 2 intense pullers, both exciting to watch, both very, very aggressive in their setups. Will not pull until they get what they want, so it's challenging for the referees. But John showing he had really good outside power. Alex showing he had incredible inside power. Went down to the final match. I think John won the first one, and then Alex came back and beat him on that inside hook press. And then John won the third one. And then again, Alex is so quick on that press. Beat him the fourth one. Fifth and deciding match went to John on going outside again. So I thought that was a fantastic matchup. Really good, close match, exciting.
John is exceptionally powerful, but Alex, when he got that hit, it was one and like it was straight to the pad. Like there was no stopping it. Yeah. So it was just a matter of who could get their move initiated before the other one.
Yeah, I was reading the comments on the TAL Facebook page, going through the live event. We were doing the super matches, and yeah, really good to see the comments. Everybody was really into it, exciting. A lot of people, I think, underestimated how good Alex was, so there was a lot of wows on there, and holy shit, and so it was good to see that there were some exciting matches.
Well, the interesting thing for me for that match was when John caught him, he kind of sat there, was kind of, cocky in that first match, and he looked comfortable. We thought, okay, this is going to be a sweep. And then match number 2 was just a squash. Like Alex just blasted right through him to the pin.
Yeah, if you ever watch Alex pull, he's really diverse. He can really do a whole lot of different things. But if you see where he's really, like, he gets in there nice and tight, and when he shoots in for that inside press, he's exceptional. Like, keep in mind, he beat Corey Miller in Vegas. I do believe that was left hand, though.
He also pinned Tim Bresnan in Vegas.
Yeah, and pissed him off.
We're not going to talk about that.
He did pin Tim Bresnan and really pissed him off. I think there was almost a fight there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, loved that match. Really good, hard, close fought match. Good to see, exciting. And then we went into yourself against Austin Jaggers, and I got to admit, after that first match, I was like, holy shit, this Austin guy's for real. But I think the deciding factor was, one, is your hit for a big guy is just overwhelming. You being able to utilize that hit, the slip, and get to the straps, you were just much better in the straps. But, yeah, I got to say, after that first match, I was like, oh, boy, this Austin guy, look out. But you do what you do best, and you're a man of comeback wins, so it was good to see another exciting match.
Well, Austin, the first 2 times I hit him, I went straight to the pad. And in that third go, I was going in there. They called me on 2 fast starts, so I had a foul. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking. And then I knew he had that one sticky spot right at the bottom, and it's kind of the exact same spot that Corey West has, that sticky spot. And if you can't hit right through it, you're going to get caught and you're going to get brought back. So I switched tactics completely and just went more of a posting top roll with him than trying to just hit through sideways.
Right.
But I was nervous.
Yeah, that slow power that he has, he's a powerful dude.
And if you watch his training, he trains in that exact position I hit him to, and I was like, shit. And
right.
Comebacks.
Yeah, it was. That was great to see, and you were sweating pretty good after that match, which moved us into our main event against Porkchop, and yeah, I mean, what do you say about Curtis Cameron? He's a strong inside puller, and I want you to give me your thoughts, because I was shocked, and I told that to Curtis on the way to the airport that, I knew he was strong, but holy fuck, man, like, guys for real. But you give me your insight. You just pulled a match 10 minutes before that. Did it affect you at all, or what's your thoughts? I mean, you had the injury too to your right faced Alex, so yeah, let me know your thoughts, right?
Well, my thoughts are this. I went into that match knowing I was going to be the underdog. So I wanted to take care of business with the left and then kind of have fun with the right. And I think we accomplished that because the matches probably went differently than a lot of people expected them to. Just in the fact that I could still hang in there with him in a hook, and then ended up actually pulling him out into his King's move in match number 3. The first match actually ended on fouls, which is I didn't even remember that until I watched it back. But yeah, the first match ended on fouls, elbow fouls. And then when I pulled, Jeff's reconnecting. Clay, me and you, buddy. So to answer the question, hopefully Jeff can hear this. Oh my God, he's gone now, Clay. To answer the question, Curtis felt very strong. He was as strong as strong as I expected him to be. Um, the goal here was to be competitive, and I think I accomplished that. And get through that to test my right arm. And I think that the match was entertaining enough that we'll probably be having a rematch in the not so distant future. The comments where everyone was talking about how low I was gripping him, it's because if I moved even an eighth of an inch upwards, I was covering his thumb knuckle, and the referees were not allowing any of that. So I could have posted, but I would have had to come forward. And I also didn't want to go straight hook, so I was giving him a low hand. So that's what happened there. Clay, let's talk about your stuff for a bit. You've got a website that you're promoting. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I've been off work since my accident, which was, I think, August 25th, 2018 or 2015. Sorry. So I've said enough, but I'd rather remember the date. Anyways, last year I had a sort of vision, like a vision on what I wanted to do. So what I want to do is make a website that people can learn from all my experience, right? So I made a website called Arm Wrestling Champions. I made a website called Arm Wrestling Champions, and it took me almost a year to build the website. Like, you can build a basic website in an hour, but I spent time and energy making this website, and I think it's very, very good. But now it's just a matter of exposing it and letting people know what's on the website. But I had my prices high at the beginning because I didn't want to seem like I didn't want to devalue it. So I had my price at 150 for level 1 and 80 for level 2. But I lowered those prices to $14.95 and $9.95. So I've significantly lowered the prices because people just weren't buying the websites. So the only people that have bought the packages are my good friends, and they do it and they bought at the sort of higher level. But I think once people see the information I have on there, then they will purchase both packages now.
Excellent.
So it's nice to be involved in the sport, and be still a good competitor in the sport. But this tournament that Jeff had on Saturday was the first time in my life. I've been in over 100 tournaments, but the first time ever I took 2 losses left and 2 losses right. I did not win one match, which is the first time ever. So it was a big wake-up call, and it's funny, but I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, arm wrestling is such an indicative sport. Like, you can win some, you can lose some. So this gives me motivation to train for the Washington State Championships on December 10th.
December the 10th.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
You want to tell your story a bit here, because most people probably don't know it. I mean, we've been arm wrestling a long time. You've probably been arm wrestling longer than I have. But you want to talk about the accident and that kind of stuff?
Sure. Well, after my accident, I'm considered by the Canadian government to have a mental disability, so I really never have to work again. And my court case to sue ICBC is coming up in February, so everything is finally coming to an end. So I had a vision, a light about a year and a half ago, and that was to teach people how to arm wrestle. So I built a website, and it took me a year to build the website. So it's not just a ring-dink, like sell this, sell that. So it has videos, it has written documents, so it's very extensive. And now it's just a matter of trying to market the website. So I'm trying to follow my vision and make it work.
Now tell us, do you want to share a bit about the accident and what actually happened? Because some people won't know.
Sure. Yeah. Almost 5 years ago, I was walking across Knight Street in Vancouver, and a car was coming, and there's some slight corners on Knight Street, left and right. So I looked both ways before I crossed, and there was nothing coming. But a car came around the corner and hit me at around 65 kilometers an hour while I was walking. and then the car threw me ahead about 20 feet, and then as the car braked to slow down, he then ran me over. So people don't joke around about this, but 4.5 years ago, I was hit and then run over by a car while walking. Like, who the hell says that?
Not many people say that, because not many people that that's happened to have the ability to say that afterwards.
No, I did some quick calculations last year, and they say that people that suffer the same, I had bleeding in the brain in the front, in the side, and in the back, and they say that people that suffered the same traumatic brain injury that I suffered, that 50% die, and that out of the survivors, 50% are severely handicapped, either physically or mentally. So I'm only a little bit mentally handicapped. Like, this is a good excuse to say whatever I want now. So in a way, it's a good excuse to say and do whatever I want. I just blame it on the accent.
Oh man, you're still a smartass. That's good to see.
Well, I wasn't for a while. It took a few years to get back into it, but I'm finally getting back to normal now. Finally, the sarcasm, the humor. Yeah, I was very serious for 3 years because I wanted to try to get back to where I was, but I think I'll never get back to the way I was in some ways, but in some ways I'm better, right? More mature and smarter, and just I'm a better person in a lot of ways. But
And I saw the guys you pulled at that tournament. They're good. They're good arm wrestlers. So there's nothing to hang your head about that. But you got a big one coming up, December 10th. You got Jody Williams, and you guys pulled before. And for those that don't know, what happened in that match?
I think me and Jody have had 2 matches before. I've only been in 2 super matches in my life, and they were both with him. I think the first one, yeah. I think the third one will be with him as well. So 3 and 3. So I think the first super match, I beat him, and then he got upset about that and beat me on the second one. So it's 1-1. 1 super match and 1 super match. So the end all is on December 10th at the Washington State Championship in Vancouver, Washington. So it's going to be a very interesting match. Very good. And for me, I'm on rock bottom right now. Like at Jeff's tournament, I took 2 losses right, 2 losses left. So I can only go up because I'm at rock bottom.
It can get worse. Trust me.
So I'm going to go up.
So there's a question in the chat. Somebody was asking if that your accident, was it a hit and run, or did they know who did it?
At first, I thought I was going to go thank the guy that hit me, but now I'm not, because he couldn't drive his car because I went through the front window, so he had to pull over. So he may have hit and run me, but he couldn't drive the car. I rode off. It was a $20,000 car, and I rode off the car. So I'm not going to thank the guy anymore. So he couldn't drive the car because I went through the front window, or almost through it.
Well, we're glad you're still with us, buddy. Jeffrey?
Yes, sir.
You missed my whole breakdown of the match, so I'm curious to hear yours.
Well, can you give me a quick synopsis on it?
Was he tough? Yes. Am I happy with my performance? Yes. Did my arm hold together? Yes. I would say my right arm's not even as sore as my left, to be honest with you. But I'm happy with what I did, and I think it builds for another match between us at some point. I mean, hey, listen, Curtis Cameron is a great guy. Nothing but sportsmen in that event, and I was happy with everybody, how they did, how they reacted, how they performed. The referees did an amazing job, even with some softening of the rules. There's not many guys that could pull off what Butcher and Anthony did there and do it effectively, but they managed to. With the wrong competitors, that could have been a very nightmarish scenario for them, if you know what I mean. But yeah. Pork Chop's strong. He is super strong, and he's more versatile than people give him credit for. So
yeah, I told him that on the way to the airport that I was, I knew who he was. I knew that he's impressive. I just to see him live, I don't know. It was hard to evaluate him against his last super match. I know I'm not taking anything away from Mark Harrison, but I just don't think Mark Harrison is where he was at 4 or 5 years ago. Pork Chop is substantially bigger than him too, but to see him against you and see that power in this hook it was impressive. And I was kind of questioning how you felt with your right arm after your injury, but yeah, taking nothing away, he's super strong in the hook, man. He's a tough guy to roll out, obviously. So I thought it was a great matchup and probably constitutes for a rematch at some point.
Well, we're definitely going to run into each other at nationals, and we're probably going to, somewhere along the way. I mean, that was a solid enough match that I don't think either one of us need to get hung up worrying about doing it again right away, but it's definitely something in the future.
Yeah, no, for sure. So what's your opinion on the whole day, the whole venue, and what did you think?
Man, I love that venue. That was a good venue. It was quaint. It was like tight, so people were like, it was kind of like that atmosphere that the old WALs used to have, the tournament style. I thought the bar owner did a good job of hosting us. He was sending drinks to my table all night, so no complaints there. But he did. I thought it was good, man. You guys did a great job of running that tournament. It went off without a hitch, and yeah, Jay Clean, says, yeah, good to see your right arm's getting there, especially considering it exploded like a year ago. Yes. I'm happy with the progress, and Pork Chop beat a very good version of my right arm. So, a couple months down the road, we'll connect again, for sure.
One of the things you just alluded to it, Ryan, about the refereeing, and I was reading all the comments on that feed, and I don't know who this live stream will all reach that we're doing now, but people got to realize, like, Butcher is Clayton and you can speak on behalf of Butcher. I mean, that guy is a seasoned ref. He's one of the best in the world. He's reffed years at WAF Nationals. Anthony's right there too. So, people still a little bit complaining, but you're not going to find two better referees. I mean, there's only a handful of, you got Leonard, you got Dave Hicks, Butcher, you got Anthony. There's a few more of them in the U.S. too. But, I mean, in North America, those are the best of the best. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I would put Butcher up there, like probably top half a dozen in the world.
Yeah.
In refereeing.
Yeah.
Curtis is in his 30s, Jay. He's more like 35 than he is. Yeah. So somebody said I looked like his dad. Well, I'm not quite old enough to be his dad. And then we got GB says, what about Pork Chop versus Mega Mike? I think Pork Chop eats Mega Mike up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a million matches for everybody. I mean, you can put Pork Chop up against 20 guys that would be just great matches. There's 20 guys that you can go against that'd be great matches. Like, yeah, just have these promoters keep lining them up and keep these guys pulling and see where they go up the rankings. I like the rankings, and yeah, there's all kinds of guys for Pork Chop to pull. So,
guys in the chat, the crazy thing is Pork Chop only started arm wrestling in 2018.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. He's always been lifting weights and strong, but 2018. So what's the future of the TAL, Jeff?
Well, you know what? I honestly was using this event for, just kind of an analysis to see what I wanted to do. I was talking with somebody this morning about it. It's just risk versus reward. I was really nervous, as BC typically has very poor turnouts, and I don't know why. Like, if you look at Advanced City Showdown, maybe 60 entries. You look at historically at provincials, you're lucky. I don't think they've ever broke 100 entries up until this last one where we did close to 200. So I was really, really nervous on losing money on it. And so at the end of the day, the turnout, definitely a success. And It's not like you make a whole, but it's not about making money. It just goes in to the effort you put in, to what you get out of it, to what you want to do again. And I think seeing this.
There he goes. You know what he's got to stop doing, Clayton? Touching his phone.
I'm at work. I got my phone's burning up, so I got people calling me. But yeah, I think when I look at it, I mean, reading comments afterwards, it's certainly motivating to do another one. I would like to run another one in May.
May, okay. There's lots of stuff happening. So you got your league, you got the new and improved Stronghold League, right? So Western Canada is hopping. We got lots of stuff. Jeff, can you hear me? Well, he figures that out, Clay. What do you want to tell the people before we end off the show here, Clayton? Here's your platform, my friend.
Well, you know what? I've been arm wrestling for almost 30 years, and Saturday was a new experience. So the more I arm wrestle, the more I want to know. So arm wrestling is a sport that I've chosen. I've probably been involved in 10 or 12 sports in my life, but I always come back to arm wrestling for a couple reasons. One, it's great people, great venues, great tournaments, and you never learn everything. So on Saturday, I took 2 losses left, 2 losses right. I'm not afraid to laugh about it. So it's a learning experience. Every tournament for me is a new learning experience. New. So you think you know everything, but you never do. So
hey, look, this we got a super chat. Jay Clean. We have not had a super chat for a long time, man. So here we go. Jay Clean says, congrats on the win, Ryan Clayton. Glad you're still kicking. Jeff, congratulations on a great event. Awesome.
there you go. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Great tournament. Lots of balls to get that going. So awesome tournament. Good job, and we look forward to the next one. I look forward to it.
What's your message to Jody Williams?
Jody Williams, watch out, because there's no way I'm going to lose the third match. No way.
Tell me about, is it a right-handed match or a left-handed match or what?
It's both. We're doing a super match right and a super match left. So I'm going to get as ready as I can for that. And then I'm also going to enter the tournament. So I've got 2 Washington State championships under my belt, but that was 176 pounds. So on December 10th, I'm competing at 220. So it's going to be a whole different world.
220. And Jody Williams, does he have to come down to a certain weight?
Yeah. So we both agreed that we both come down to 220. So I think he's going to do it because he's a very disciplined guy. So I think he'll get down to 220. I'll get down to 220, and we'll face off. But I can make a trip out of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I always have a great time going to the U.S. competitions.
So you're going to, it's in Seattle?
It's in Vancouver, Washington.
Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, Jody can make that weight. If he's 235, Jay, which I think you're correct, that's an easy cut. He's got 2 more weeks to get it done. And I'll be watching. You guys are competing against the Monster Factory event as far as views go.
I expect you to be one of my biggest fans, Ryan.
I will. I'll be sitting here behind my computer watching it as long as there's a live stream. So make sure there is.
There should be.
But I have to remain impartial because Jody is also a good friend, and he's my co-host. And I have to see him every Monday. And
well, I was very surprised to find out that you haven't actually seen Jody in a long time, but everything's done on computer, on webcam. So
yeah, we have not. It has been a very long time. Maybe since like UAL number 8.
Wow.
Yeah. which is way back. All right, buddy. Well, should we put a wrap on this one?
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. And I usually talk nonstop, but today I try to be as quiet as I can.
Well, that's never good.
I'll make
All
up
right.
for it in a few days.
Right on.
Thanks for having me,
Well,
Ryan.
Jeff is off to do whatever he's going to do with some connectivity issues. So thanks to Jeff for coming on. Clay, thanks you for joining us. I'm going to go back into the video description here and put a link to your website so that people can find that. So if you've watched this show, give me once it's done going live, give me 5 minutes and I'll have that edited. But yeah, GB, we're going to talk preview of the Monster Factory and Washington State probably on next week's show because that will be the one right before then. So stay tuned for that. Chance Shaw looks like he's going to be pulling, but we got lots of good stuff happening. The match I think I'm looking forward to the most on the Monster Factory event, of course, is Cody Merritt versus the Gorilla, Corey West. So I have a definite interest in that match, and I want one of those two guys in my next left-handed event. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chat, and y'all have a nice day.